All right, guys. Are you guys ready to do a podcast?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We're clean on this, so.
Tone would love to have me, but
Are we allowed to?
Whoa!
You know what? And I'm gonna
You
double
suck.
down. You would love to have me too, Paul.
Hey, yo, James, don't call him directly. He might cut you out. Call me first, and I'll train you.
Do you smell what the book is cooking?
Yeah, what I like to say is movement fails opportunity when opportunity fails to move.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back into Gumball Sports Machine. And this is the podcast in which we love, we laugh, we hug, we cry, we smile. And most importantly, we are positive. And as always, I am not alone. First off, I got my dog, my OG, my co-host, OG Tone.
Squad.
Tone, what's crack-a-lacking?
Hello, my friend.
Hi, how are you doing, sir?
I'm delightful. And yourself?
Oh, I am absolutely fantastic. Will you be at the country club later?
Most definitely.
Sorry. Oh, okay. I'm glad we were able to keep that going. I enjoyed that. Thanks, Tom. And next, we got D'Lo, aka David Largo, aka co-host D'Lo. David Largo, how are you feeling on this fine evening?
Hello.
Good evening, gentle sirs.
Oh, how are you doing, my friend?
What's the day?
Very, very exquisite today.
Is it exquisite?
Tis
Very
marvelous.
exquisite.
Oh, what a boy. You sound the most natural doing it, so.
Okay. All right.
And lastly, we got Kev, we got Kevin, we got who I like to call the brains of the group. Kevin, how are you feeling?
Good day, mate.
How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing
Okay.
bloody wonderful today, mate.
Where did you go? You got on a boat?
I think you forgot to get off the boat. Missed the stop.
I need you to stop talking, you wanker.
What?
Whoa!
Whoa!
You bloody wanker.
Oh my gosh, bro. Is that not like that has to be
That's
illegal, right?
that's how the British people be saying. You bloody wanker.
Is that British?
I don't know where he went.
Hey, someone is echoing.
I
Who
can't
is
hear
that?
it.
It's Maul. It's guaranteed Maul. Because no one can hear anything that he says. So what's going on, guys?
So we're off to a great start.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Something to chew on.
Like that's not just me, right?
No, I can
That's me too.
Okay. I want to
Hey,
make sure.
We're live. Stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? Still echoing though.
This
No,
is all
hear you.
This is awkward.
This is what happens when you want your opinion to really hit hard. You have that echo.
No, that's funny. The funny thing is that we're starting the show 40 minutes late because Maul was having some technical difficulties, and here we are again. Hey, the echo's
Be
going
technical.
at least.
Someone is having difficulties.
Someone
I'm
is
surprised it's
indeed.
not Tones with the technology difficulties though.
Damn.
Why Tone? You want to explain?
Usually Tone's mic is muted here and there.
That's crazy.
Wow.
You start throwing me under the bus.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
My bad. I'll throw you on the bus next time.
Hey, man, while we wait for Gumball, tell us about that foe that you had, Kev.
It was
Pretty good?
scrumptious. It was scrumptious.
Yeah? Is that at home? You go out somewhere?
You trying to
It,
plug a restaurant?
it was at my Meemaw's.
Oh,
It is Sunday. He went to Meatballs after
that's
church.
nice.
That's what
In-house
happened.
is dope.
Homemade's always the best made.
That's that. Yeah, that's where people get to put their feet in the bowl and stir
Maybe where you're from, where I'm from, I
it.
don't know
Yeah,
about
they.
that one.
Well, I'm from. They definitely putting. You ain't never had that.
I don't think I'm making wine over there,
Yeah.
Tones.
Nah, that's when it's real. When they put their feet in it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Coach.
We jumping straight into something that you on. We can't hear.
We can't
Yeah,
hear.
we
We
can't hear
still
you,
can't hear
host.
you.
You didn't make sure we could hear you first.
Yeah, you didn't say anything. Like, hey guys, y'all hear
This
me? Or...
is the most
You can
awkward
hear me
start to
now?
the show.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we
now
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you.
All right. Yep. Okay. Let's All right. First try, as I like to say, first try. First segment of the show is called Something to Chew On, the segment in which we go over the top stories of the week. It's been a few days since we've had a podcast, gentlemen. So we got some things to talk about. Let's start with the NFL owners had their off-season meeting last week, and the big story is that they voted to keep the tush push in the game. D'Lo, is this good? Is this bad? Or is it not really that big of a deal for the league?
I think it's fine. I mean, they favored offense so heavily the past couple of years in terms of just banning certain things that the defense can and cannot do. So I know a bunch of the defensive players in particular were looking at it like, dang, this thing is like unguardable. Why can't we get that banned? But um, you got to think about it. The Eagles have to be on the 1 yard line or, 4th and 1, 4th and inches to even pull this thing out. Right. So I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think that they use it enough to justify banning it. You got to find a way to stop it, I guess.
Kev, what'd you think? Is it good, bad, or just doesn't really matter for the league?
We already spoke on this, and I don't think they should have even brought up about banning in the first place. It's a football play. Yes, a lot of people are saying it's dangerous. Injuries happen, but it's football. Injuries are always a thing in football. So it's a football play. It's not like it's destroying the league. Like D'Lo said, if they get to the 1 yard line, they're going to do the tush push. If it's a 4th and 1, 4th and inches, they're going for it. All you have to do is try to stop it. And if you can't stop it, that's on you.
Tone, what do you think? Is it good, bad, or are you indifferent on it?
I guess indifferent. I mean, it's something to talk about. A lot of football talk. So something in football going on. So it's something to talk about football. But they like Lo said, they've been creating or siding with offensive rules, and this is a offensive. Helps the offense. So offense brings in the money, man. Business decision.
I'll be quick. I have a lot to say about this play, but I disagree with Kevin and D'Lo. I don't think it's a football play. My father played rugby in Kenya for that's what he played growing up. That's a rugby play. That's a rugby scrum. It's not a football play. And to D'Lo's point where you said, oh, they have to get to 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. If you're 3rd and 3, oh yeah, just run tush push the next 2 plays and you'll get it eventually. I don't know. I'm just kind of sick of seeing. I was kind of hoping it banned just so that we can see real 31s again. You know, the play you actually action, or you have to run halfback dive, and whoever's offense or whoever's line is better and stronger wins the matchup. Not just the tush push. I don't know. I tend to disagree with the tush push. Las Vegas Raiders rookie running back Ashton Genty. One thing he's been known for is for his Michael Myers like stance, pre-snap, where he kind of stands up straight in the backfield before the ball is snapped. Raiders offensive coordinator Chip Kelly told him that he cannot stand like that with them. Now he did mention, oh yeah, Ashton's going to do it right now. Hopefully he can convince him in the future. Kev, what do you think of Chip Kelly going and telling Ashton Genty, the guy who just for or over 2,000 yards in college? What do you think of Chip Kelly telling Genty this?
I think he just maybe wants to keep it traditional. Maybe it's to be safer, or maybe when you're a little hunched over, you get a little head start as soon as the ball snaps. So I don't know. I never had a problem with his stance in college, and I mean it worked out pretty well for him in college.
Dilo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's stupid, to be honest. And the main reason I like it is because I'm a big fan of Jameer Gibbs, and if you watch him in Detroit, he does the same thing.
Yeah.
He's not, crouching over, hunching over, ready and prepared for it. Because he's got the breakneck speed to get you anywhere, so it doesn't really matter. I think Ashton Genty is the same way. Mind you, he's not as fast as Jameer Gibbs, but he's also a bit bulkier and can, shed some of that off better than Jameer can. So I don't think that Chip should have done that. Now, he's a rookie. You got to listen to the OC, and if the OC don't like it and you don't want to change it, he probably won't play you. But I think he should have left it alone. I think it's fine.
Tone, do you have a problem with Chip Kelly telling Ashton Genty to change his iconic stance?
Definitely. I think that's whack. That's that old school mentality. That's why a lot of these organizations are trying to find younger, coaches that connect with the players. Um, yeah, it just seems whack. Seems too controlling, and especially if he's having success.
Yeah, I don't know, boys. I'm kind of indifferent on it. I don't think it's that big a deal. I don't think I don't think if he was going to rush for 1,000 yards or 1,500 yards, rushing when he's standing up, I don't think he's going to change just because he's changing his stance. It doesn't. I'm kind of whatever on it. I don't think it's too big of a deal, but it would have been cool to see Ashton Genty kind of be more of himself in the league. Let's see what else we got. Michael Malone is now making appearances on shows like NBA Countdown and SportsCenter on ESPN. During one of these appearances on SportsCenter, the former Denver Nuggets head coach called SGA the MVP. This was before SGA was actually announced as the MVP, so we didn't actually know if he was the MVP. But Tone, because of this, do you think Nikola Jokic now again? And Michael Malone did go back and say that Nikola Jokic something about him actually voting for the MVP or something like that. But did you or Michael Malone voted for Jokic to be the MVP? Do you think that Nikola Jokic should take any offense to this?
No, I think that a lot of the media had already said that SGA was known like the preemptive MVP. So it was, I guess in conversation amongst selves. And now he's part of the media. He said it a little differently, I think, and maybe less media friendly. But I don't think they know one another, and I think they don't like each other anyways. So I think Jokic was part of the reason why that he got fired.
Kev, do you have a problem with Michael Malone calling SGA the MVP before he was actually the MVP?
I got no problem with it. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think maybe it was a bit of shade thrown at Jokic because maybe he was one of the reasons why he got fired. But I mean, SGA won the MVP, so it's not like Jokic won it and then he was just hating on him. So maybe it was just kind of like telling him telling everyone like, oh yeah, SGA is gonna be MVP regardless of what I think about Jokic.
D'Lo, should Jokic have taken offense to this?
No, I don't see why not.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't have a whole
oh,
lot to
thanks for
say
your
on
input.
this. I don't have a whole lot to say on this. I mean, they were with each other for 10 years. I know that's Jokic should know that Michael Malone wants him to be the MVP. Wants and what's the reality are two separate things. And I think Jokic should be able to, separate the two. So I don't think that he would take any offense to this.
Yeah, the to Tone's point, the way that Michael Malone said it when he did, happened to say it on SportsCenter, it sounded kind of like he was taking a shot at him. I honestly I don't think Nikola Jokic cares. Nikola Jokic is a very nonchalant person, um, and so I don't really think he gave too much thought to it. I just thought it was interesting how fast he was able to say SGA was MVP before it was actually announced. Lastly, this should be quick, but I did want to bring this up. I thought it'd be cool to talk about for a second. The NFL is allowing NFL players to play in the first ever flag football or Olympic flag football games in 2028. Kevin, if there is one player that you feel has to be a part of Team USA from the NFL, who would it be?
Tyreek Hill.
D'Lo,
Lamar Jackson.
Tone,
I'd have to say I guess the kid Daniels.
Jane Daniels is a good one. Jane Daniels is a good one. I would probably say either Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. I think those two. I think Travis Hunter is also on that list because he could play both sides of the ball and it's a 7-on-7 game. But I thought that'd be interesting, and so I did come up at work. We came up with a team, no 17. I will, I'll say it right now. So the team I came up with was I call it Team Intimidation. Right? It was, and I'll be my bad. I don't take it too long. Who did I have? Lamar. I had Saquon. I had DK Metcalf, and on defense I had Garrett. So Team Intimidation. So, okay. Thanks for the feedback, guys. All right, let's move on to the game. Let's move on to the game 3 of Indiana and the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks win their first game of the series, 106-100. The Knicks were down by 20 about late in the second quarter. Jalen Brunson was in very, very big foul. It was Cat. Cat handled it a little better than Jalen Brunson did. Cat was amazing in the fourth quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, he had 4 points. He scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. He was fantastic. He was one of the biggest, if not the biggest reason why the Knicks actually won this game. Jalen Brunson, he only played 31 minutes because of the foul trouble. In the Knicks, I mean, they had guys step up for him. Tom Thibodeau is one of those guys that's going to play his starters. He's going to play his guys. Tonight, he went beyond that. He played Deuce McBride a lot. He played DeLon Wright. He played Landry Shamet. So it was very interesting to see those guys step up and show out the way they did. On the other side, it was just okay from the Pacers. Siakam had 17, Halliburton had 20, Miles Turner had a pretty decent game. He had 19. TJ McConnell was fantastic in the first half, very, very quiet in the second half, although he only played 15 minutes. And so the Pacers, I think at halftime they got comfortable with the lead, and obviously they ended up blowing it, and the Knicks came back to win this game. When you watch this game, and because early, like I said, early in the first half they were down by 20, and so we were thinking, oh, this team is done. They're going to get swept. Kevin actually said it, and so you mentioned that there's a lot of time in this game, and they ended up coming back. What were your takeaways from this game?
Well, I mean, firstly, calling a game over in the first half to me will always be crazy. I don't care. Well, let me rephrase. If you're down, 50 in the first half, then I'll understand if you want to call the game over. But anything 25 or less, like, I think it's still a reasonable game. You start 24 minutes left on in the game clock, right? And you saw it in the fourth quarter. The Knicks outscored the Pacers by 16 in the fourth quarter. And that's enough. That's going to get you a dub, right? Um, so, I mean, it just shows no lead is really safe, especially 20 now. 20 is not a safe lead like it was, however many years ago. It's just a different league now. So that's takeaway number one. Um, but takeaway number two is that I still think the Pacers win this series. Um, I think that outside of the offensive explosions, they've just been the better team. Um, Defensively, offensively, they've just been more complete. Um, and that kind of, I told you guys, this was the last time we did a show. I think this was Wednesday night after we had all gotten off. Um, and I was telling y'all, like, I can't believe that you guys predicted the Knicks to win simply by saying that they had the best player in the series. I thought that that was crazy to me because the Pacers have yet to have a series where they have the best player on the floor. And look at where they're at. First round, Giannis, he was the best player on the floor. Gentleman's sweep.
That's a good point.
Donovan Mitchell, he was the best player on the floor. Gentleman's sweep. And now we're coming here. Jalen Brunson is the best player on the floor, and they took the first two games in Madison Square Garden. Obviously, they blew this one tonight, but um, I don't expect them to be stagnant again in a second half like that, especially for a team that's just so well rounded. So, I impressive win for the Knicks. I'm glad that it's interesting. I think that this series still goes 6 or 7, but I just think that the Pacers are just too well rounded to give it up.
Tone, would you see from this game tonight? Then obviously, like I said, the Knicks were down big, came back. Jalen Brunson got into foul trouble, which kind of changed the game up a little bit. What'd you take away from this game?
Well, first of all, Low, I picked Pacers in 6, so you can hold that. Um,
Good.
but
Okay.
secondly, I seen the. I mean, Low made a lot of great points. I do think that Indiana took their foot off the pedal defensively. The Knicks were making a great comeback, but when Naismith got hurt, it seemed like it gassed Indiana to an extent, and the Knicks really just took over the rest of the game. They definitely had the momentum. I didn't see Rick Carlisle use his depth the same way in the second half, the way he did in the first half, which was exactly what Tom Thibodeau did in the second half that he didn't do in the first half, which has been honestly what teams have had success with in the playoffs. If the players aren't kind of too hurt, everyone's kind of hurt this late in the season, but if the players aren't too hurt, using that depth has been successful for most teams in this playoff. Um, I think I said it before the playoffs started that I thought this Knicks team wasn't going to last through the summer, and to me, this is the tale right here. Like if they don't win this next game, I think it's obvious. Like you can't beat the Indiana Pacers, and the Indiana Pacers aren't going to be the best team in the East. And spending this much money, and just knowing that the window closes very quickly. Again, you look at my Boston Celtics right now. The Knicks are not good enough to win the championship, so there's got to be a move made. Um, I like OG. I like what he brings to the table. I I can't see them moving Brunson, even though I don't think Brunson is a number one on a championship team, honestly. Um, and then, yeah, like how do you pick between Brunson and Cat after you spent that much money on them? But yeah, I think that the next game is their game 7, and if they don't win, that team breaks up.
Kev, what'd you see tonight, man?
Um, It's like I said in the group chat in the first half. They didn't play with energy. They didn't play like they wanted to win, and they were getting bashed and thrashed by T.J. McConnell of all players. So that first half was pretty ugly for New York, but second half they turned it around. Tones brought up Neesmith getting hurt. That probably could have been the deciding factor because he's one of their energy guys. You know, when one of your guys go down, especially one that brings energy on both ends of the court, it's hard to keep the momentum going. And so losing him for a bit was quite a blow. And then Cat just decided he didn't want to miss in the fourth quarter. So that is definitely going to help you win, close out the game, especially when Cat's making all his shots. So it was a good game overall by New York in the second half. If they can continue shooting hot, I think they can possibly pull out from the series. But Indy, I don't know, they're just a little more stacked overall. I think New York is more top heavy, but I think Indy has a lot more depth than New York.
Yeah, I had a few takeaways from this game. Number one, I I know there's been a debate, but the Indiana Pacers go as Pascal Siakam goes. When he's got it going, he's the best player on that team. He can score at will. He's a good defender, not a great defender, a good defender. But when he's got it going, like he did in Game 2, he had 39. I mean, when he's got it going like that, they are. I mean, especially when there's somebody else coming along with them, the Pacers are very, very close to unbeatable. And so I know the Knicks ended up coming back even in Game 2 and making it close, but Indiana, Pascal Siakam, like he had it going a little bit in the fourth quarter, but I mean, Cat was just fantastic, and so he kind of canceled him out. But when you look at Siakam, he had it going. Now tonight he only had 17, and he only had 17. Tyrese Halliburton, I think, had 20. So either one of the two guys, either Halliburton or Siakam, has to have it going. Has to have it going. And then they need somebody else to come along with them. Tonight, be T.J. McConnell. Like Kevin said, he was frying in the first half. He was getting wherever he wanted. But then, I don't know, Rick Carlisle just went away from him. And so, speaking of the bench, the Knicks bench today is also the second biggest reason why they won this game today. Deuce McBride came into the game. He was getting buckets off the bench. DeLon Wright, he didn't necessarily get buckets, but he had an impact. He was getting rebounds. He was playing defense. Landry Shamet, same thing. Landry Shamet came into the game. He was playing defense. He was hustling. He was getting those 50-50 balls. The Knicks bench came in and had a huge impact on this game, especially because Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble. Cat was in foul trouble. And so, speaking of which, the Knicks have to stay out of foul. They have to stop fouling. This is not the first time in the playoffs, and this is not even the first time in the series that the Knicks 2 stars have gotten into foul trouble and have hurt the team because of it. Now, today it didn't hurt them, but in Game 1 and Game 2 it hurt them. Jalen Brunson fouled out in Game 2, I believe. Yeah, in Game 2. And so they have to stay out of foul trouble. And, and the referees, they were not their best today. There was a couple calls. Siakam blocked Deuce McBride at the rim. That was called a foul. That was not a foul. Cat was called for a travel on a made layup that would have extended the Knicks lead to 6. That was not a travel. And that's just 2 of the many, many calls that the referees kind of messed up today. I thought that was very interesting to see. But yeah, today was a must-win. Today
Wasn't Scott Foster as the ref today?
Scott Foster. God, I hate Scott Foster.
The extender.
Hey, listen, you talk about today as a must-win. The next 2 games are must-wins for New York if they want a chance to win this series. If they go down 3-1, they will not come back.
Yep.
It will not happen. They have to win tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, on Tuesday. They have to win.
Yeah, they do. I agree. And so to that point, like, do you go back to the bench? Do you go back because Deuce McBride fantastic today? Again, Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright, they didn't score a lot, but they still had a huge impact. OG Anunoby hit some huge shots at the beginning of the first half. I mean, at the beginning of the second half. He hit a couple huge threes. Had a huge block on Aaron Neesmith late in the game. Like, are these guys going to be able to have an impact? on Tuesday like they did today. That's what's going to need to happen in order for the Knicks to get back into the series and have a chance to win this series. But Tone, when you look at it, what now again? You have the Pacers in 6. What are the chances you give the Knicks to actually go and win this series?
Nothing. None. They can't defend. OG and Anobi can't guard everyone. Mikal Bridges, I don't know what's going on. It's either he has a superstar night or he just looks like another player out there. Um, and so yeah, I don't know what night he's gonna have the night after next. Yeah, and Cat, they're literally picking on the superstars of the Knicks, which is like the weirdest thing to say. Like how did the best players on the other team, but literally they're hunting them on defense and specifically them.
I will say the Knicks need to do the same thing. Maybe not Siakam, but they need to hunt Halliburton. They need to play whoever offense on Halliburton. Whoever Tyrese Halliburton is guarding is going to score the basketball because all five, aside from maybe Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson, whoever starts that day. But other than that, the rest of the Knicks can go score. So whoever zero on the in yellow is guarding, go at him. Go at him. They need to do the same thing. Get him in foul trouble. They need to do the same thing.
Hasn't worked yet.
Yeah, it
No.
hasn't. And I think the main thing is that New York is a jump shooting team. They don't outside of Cat and Brunson, everyone else is mainly there to shoot the basketball.
They're 3-D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you see that with McHale a lot. Like Tone said, he's either the best player on the floor or he's just an average player. And he was another average player today. I mean, he shot 6 for 18. Like that's not going to cut it. And that's who Halliburton was guarding. He was guarding McHale because Josh Hart did not start this game. He was coming off of
No.
the bench. So McHale has to be better if you're going to hunt um, Tyrese because it's not going to work. But I also think that the Pacers are just so good defensively that they can sort of mask even if they are hunting Halliburton. Because all Hallie has to do is send them towards the paint, and it's gonna do its thing. Um, I I just it's easier for the Pacers, especially with Brunson. I don't know if you guys watched the game today, but he was getting hunted in that first half, and that's why they were up 20. That's why
Yeah.
he was on the bench. He was in foul trouble. And
Even
he
last
didn't
game.
yeah, even last game, but he was awful tonight. I don't care that he scored over 20. 23, 10 of those were free throws. So he had 13 points on 18 shots. He was awful tonight. And
Mm-hmm.
part of that is because he was sitting on the bench. He had no time to get it going. Um, I think that if you want to win this game, yes, you're going to have to rely on, those guys on the bench to come in and give you some energy. But at the same time, you have to get him going if you want even a glimpse of a chance in the series because he was terrible tonight.
Yeah. After how bad he was, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little surprised that the Knicks came out on top and were able to win this game. Cat was amazing in the fourth quarter. The first 3 quarters, he was terrible. That if that happens again, they will lose. I can guarantee you that. But they need to play a full 4 quarters of very good basketball on Tuesday, or else, like you said, they're going to go down 3-1, and this series is really over at that
I feel
point.
like Tibbs is in. He's got an interesting situation where when Brunson's on the floor, they're allowing more points essentially. So like, how do you operate? Because I mean, it's been like I think all 3 games, literally, the point differential is better when McBride is on the floor for the Knicks, and I mean that's just insane.
He has the highest plus minus in for New York is McBride. When he's on the
Yeah,
floor, they just score more.
yeah. Jalen Brunson was a -6, and yeah, Deuce McBride was +7. Landry Shamet was a +12. Like it was. Jalen Brunson needs to be better. He needs to be better on both sides of the floor. Um, he was not very good offensively today, and he, to damn sure, was not very good defensively today. He's got to be better. He's got to be better in order for them to again have a chance to win this series. Let's talk about those boys in the West. Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves played Game 3 in Minnesota, and Minnesota absolutely walked into the arena. And as soon as they stepped foot in the arena, they were already up 20. They didn't even have to. They didn't have to put their uniforms on. They were just already up 20. Yeah, the T-Wolves thrashed the Oklahoma City Thunder 143 to 101. They won all 4 quarters. And you want to talk about somebody who was awful? SGA was not good in this basketball game. He was 4-13, 2-5 from three. He only shot 4 free throws, which could be a big story. He had the worst plus minus in -32 on the Oklahoma City Thunder. But really, nobody on this team was good, and nobody on this team was good in Game 3. But the other side, a lot of people stood out. Anthony Edwards obviously was fantastic. 12 of 17 from the field, 5 of 8 from three. He had 30 points. He had 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. He had it going. Julius Randle, 9 of 15, 2 of 5 from three, 24 points. The guy that stood out the most, though, he's my guy. Like, I've been watching him since he was at Illinois, and he really, like, he stood out. Like, he jumped off the screen when I was watching this guy at Illinois. Terrence Shannon Jr. made an impact early in this basketball game. He had 15 points, 5 of 8 from three, or 5 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from three. He was very good in this game. And my favorite part about his game, Antonio like this, is his defense. He is a very good defender. He's a long, lengthy defender. He's fast on his feet. Like, he is very, very good, and he is impact game, and it showed. Kev, when you watch this game, what happened after the dominance that the Thunder showed in Game 1, was 1 and 2? How did the script absolutely flip and the Timberwolves end up winning this game by 40?
I just also want to point out, didn't they show a picture of Shannon scoring more points than any starter on the Thunder on that game
Yep.
too?
Mhm.
Well, that's crazy. Um, my thoughts about the game is I think Edwards is always going to have his game. He's going to get close to 25, 30 a night. And whether they win or lose, he's still going to get that many points. I think it all ends with Randall and how he does, because the first 2 games, especially that second game, he was awful in that second game. And so I think it all starts with Randall and it ends with him, because if Randall can be Edwards' running partner, I think they have a chance every single game to win the game. And like you brought up Shane and you brought up a bunch of guys, they all shot pretty well. The whole team shot really well. I think I saw a stat line where they were like 50%, 60% from the field or something, while OKC was
Yeah.
like 20 something percent from the field. So they shot a lot better at home. And if they can continue that going into Game 4, I think they can tie the series up pretty quickly. And like I said, it's all up to Randall. And if he wants to show up to the games, then they always have a chance with him and Edwards running the show.
Tone, what'd you see from this game tonight? How were the T-Wolves able to flip the script on the Thunder?
I think it was a lot to do with energy. I mean, it was really like a game 7 for them. Honestly, kind of similar game like it was for the Knicks tonight. Um, AE came out with that killer mentality. They played very well defensively, and I think once they got the lead and SGA and those guys missed a couple more shots, they were kind of out of it mentally, and I think having that 2-1 lead, and I still think that they feel like they have enough poise, enough understanding to win the game. They kind of just gave up, which favors the Timberwolves in that fashion, because they get to just pour on an onslaught and gain momentum and gain confidence. The real situation is the next game, and how that one starts, because if if those guys come out the same way, the Timberwolves, but if SGA and those guys respond, that's when the it's going to get real difficult for the Timberwolves because the Timberwolves were making shots like Kev said, like they shot a high percentage, and OKC gets out and runs, and so they didn't actually get to do what they like to do. They didn't cause a lot of turnovers. Their defense wasn't on point. So it'll be real interesting to see next game how OKC comes out and at the start of the game. But yeah, I think this is getting interesting, man. This because this is that we getting a new champion, whoever comes out of either conference, and it's interesting. You got the Michael Jordan comparisons, and then you just got SGA, who's just been killing the Western Conference for the past 2 years. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see whose name gets dragged through the mud and who gets to sit in the king's throne.
Yeah, to your point, the Timberwolves shot ridiculous well. They shot 57% field and 20 of 40 from three, 50% from three. That is, I think, the best that they shot in a single game in this playoffs in 2025. D'Lo, would you take away from this game and the Timberwolves, like I said, flipping the script on the Thunder?
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned they shot the ball extremely efficient. But of all the guys that you mentioned, obviously Terrence Shannon Jr., great game. Anthony Edwards, great game. Julius Randle, great game. I'm giving all of the credit to Coach Finch. I'm giving every single ounce of credit to him, and I'll explain why. Okay, if you guys watch the first two games of this series, Jaden McDaniels was picking up Shea at the half court. And they were setting that high ball screen, and Shea was getting downhill because Jaden McDaniels would go over the screen. Happened every time. And he either got to that mid range and he got comfortable, or they would collapse and they would leave shooters open. Um, and OKC, they are live and die by that three, just like a lot of other teams. They shoot a lot of threes, and they did in game three. The thing is that they didn't make it in game three, which I don't expect to happen. But I think that the real adjustment comes from Coach Finch made him pick up SGA at the 3 point line instead. And if you watch all of the on ball screens that SGA was on, Jaden McDaniels would go under the screen, and they were daring SGA to beat them from that 3 point line. And that's just not SGA's game. I'm not going to say he's not comfortable doing it, but he would be more comfortable in that mid range. And so when you force
Yeah.
Jaden McDaniels to go underneath that screen and you dare SGA to shoot, you're going to cause problems for the Thunder. Because that's not what SGA wants to do. He wants to get in the mid range and shoot it, or he will play make out of it. And that's why they are so good shooting, because they have a collapse on SGA and everyone is getting wide open threes. So if you're not turning the ball over and you're in this half court defense where you're forcing Jaden McDaniels or whoever is defending him to go under the screen, it worked beautifully. And you saw it. They scored 14 points in the first quarter. And by that point, they just never took their foot off the gas. They outscored them every single quarter. And I think that's the difference, is that Coach Finch, he made that adjustment and he told McDaniels, hey, you're guarding him too high. Don't let him get downhill. You force him to go, through the screen, but you go under and you make him shoot. And it worked beautifully. And I hope he doesn't go away from it, because a lot of people saw he didn't get the foul calls because he wasn't getting to his spots. He wasn't getting to a shooting spot. So if Minnesota continues with that adjustment, I think it could be trouble for the Thunder. So I wanted to point that out from a game knowledge perspective, because it was huge in the game if you watched it.
I that's that's a very good point, David, because like I said, that's how SGA gets comfortable. That's how he gets the defenders like the Jaden McDaniels, like the Nikhil Alexander Walkers, like the Anthony Edwards off of him, because 9 times out of 10 they were going to go over the screen, and so which means SGA was able to get downhill, and so now he's in the middle of the floor. Now he has every single option he could possibly have. He could pull up for the mid range. He could find a shooter on the corner. He had every possible option. But when you have him going under the screen, it makes things a lot harder because he can't get downhill. And when you have a long, lanky defender like Jay McDaniels, it's hard for him to come around the screen and actually have those options that he did before when Jay McDaniels was going over the screen. The biggest thing to me is Chris Finch. Yes, he made those adjustments, but this series, in my opinion, and I will come on here and gladly say I was wrong, this series is over in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. The series, it's over because that was Minnesota's best shot. That was their best shot, and they could not miss. They could not miss. They shot 50% from three. They shot 57% from the field. How often have they done that in these playoffs? They have not been consistent shooting the three ball. Julius Randle has been pretty consistent. Now, in Game 2, he was really bad. Is he going to do the same thing in Game 4 than what he did in Game 3? I think, again, and just like Chris Finch made those adjustments, Mark Daigneault is going to make the same adjustments. Oh, okay, you want to go under the screen and make SGA shoot. Watch this. I'm going to have Chet come up and do this, and Isaiah Hartenstein come up. There's going to be more adjustments made. I think that was their best shot. I think that was Minnesota's best shot. And so once OKC adjusts, and once SGA figures out, okay, this is how I beat it, I think because even if you set those screens, right? Even if you set those screens and Jay McDaniels or whoever's guarding SGA goes under the screen, somebody's gonna have to step up. So SGA, if he goes hard off the screen and forces them to switch, he's gonna have Rudy Gobert on, or he's gonna have Julius Randle on. They're going to have to switch. That's one of the negative parts to going under a screen. Because you're not going to be able to get there fast enough, or else SGA is going to have an open shot. The same adjustments are going to be made from OKC standpoint. And honestly, like I said, I think this series is over because I think that was Minnesota's best shot. And if that was their best shot and Oklahoma City is able to adjust to that, I don't know if Minnesota's going to be able to come back. Again, that was a dominant win. I just don't know if they're going to be able to come back. All right. That was the two games that we were reacting to. And as we do every week, Tone, we have
Goats.
Hold on.
Smile on my TVC crap when I'm teasing. Peace on me, sponsored by Reese's. Lately been texting that set my defenses increasing. Back on that corner like Durrell Reeves.
This week's Gumballs Goats is very interesting. And I think, and the reason why I wanted to save some time for this is because I think there's going to be a lot of conversation on whether it's you guys or whether it's, the people watching. I think there's going to be a lot of different thoughts on this week's Gumball Goats. So this week's Gumballs Goats top 5 are the most realistic and best trade options for Kevin Durant.
And did we say we were doing an honorable mention for this?
There is absolutely an honorable mention for this. So, as always, or for the most part, we will with honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
The first member, I guess not technically the first member, but the first part of Gumball's Goats, the honorable mention, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I understand that they're still in the playoffs, and we actually just got done talking about it. But if they lose, it's going to be a very interesting conversation. The T-Wolves have one of the best young and up-and-coming stars in the NBA in Antman, Anthony Edwards. He has now led his team to back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances for the first time in their franchise history. Now, the series is 2-1 in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder, so the Wolves are, of course, still in the series. But if the Minnesota Timberwolves were to lose in the Western Conference Finals for 2 years back-to-back, they could be looking for somebody to get them over the hump. And, I hope I didn't forget to mention that Anthony Edwards, his favorite player was Kevin Durant. So I did want to throw that out there. So, honorable mention. The Minnesota
Interesting.
Timberwolves.
Starting off well. I like it. Now I got to see who you got at number 6.
Numero 5. The Denver Nuggets. Now, I know you're looking, they got the best player in the world. If you watch the Denver Nuggets today, you could see that they were missing something. This may come as a surprise to some people as a team that could be a good fit for Kevin Durant. They haven't been talked about very much. But when you really look at it, yes, like I said, the Nuggets do have the best player in the world. But that's about it in terms of consistent scoring. In 2023, he had Jamal Murray, a consistent scorer. He had Michael Porter Jr., a consistent scorer. Those guys haven't been that for the past 2 years. The Nuggets did win they did win the chip in 2023. And I'm sure they're looking to win another one with Nikola Jokic. Again, the best player still in his prime. Jokic was great in this year's playoffs, but he had no one to go along with him. And who better to go along and add a scoring piece than a professional bucket getter and the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant, who just so happens to be available. Number 5, the Denver Nuggets.
With the Joker, huh? Interesting. Can't wait to hear what the fellas got to say about that. But for now, numero 4.
My very good friend, and unfortunately, I think he might like this a little bit. He might have a different thought or two. The Miami Heat. Now, again, like I said, unfortunately, I know, David Largo, D-Lo, he might like this, but the Miami Heat could be a very interesting team for a trade destination for Kevin Durant. He could be very interesting because to pair Durant with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero in a Jason Tatum-less Eastern Conference, and the reason why I bring up Jason Tatum is because Jason Tatum has become the owner of the Miami Heat, FYI, could be very enticing for Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. The question is, how much and what would Pat Riley be willing to give up for a 36-year-old, going to be 37-year-old superstar, Kevin Durant? Number 4, Miami Heat.
KD back in the East. Woo! Yeah, I don't like it. Numero 3.
Now, I don't even know if I'm going to get hate for this one. I don't know if I'm going to get thrashed for this one. My Phoenix Suns. I know. Yes, no, he's already on the team. And I know you're all looking at me like this stupid idiot has been saying Kevin Durant is out of Phoenix for however long now. Now he's saying that he might be a fit there? No. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that it's a possibility. While KD is still one of the best players in the NBA, he is also 36, going to be 37 by the start of next season. The reason why I say that is because the Suns may not get an offer they're looking for in the Kevin Durant trade. Because of that, it may just be smarter to keep the 36-year-old superstar and run it back with Devin Booker. But none of that is possible. I'm talking none of that is possible without getting rid of Bradley Beal. Whether it's trading him, whether it's waiving him, got to get rid of Bradley Beal. Tony, you got to get rid of him, or else Kevin Durant has to go.
Deal the Beal, huh?
Got to deal the Beal.
Deal the Beal. Hey, I'm not mad with that one because I am actually the person who said that he would be the next year. So, works for me. Numero 2.
Another team that is still in these playoffs. The New York Knickerbockers. Yes, I said Knickerbockers. The New York Knicks are having the best season they have had in about 25 years. To put that into perspective, I'm about to be 23 years old, and the last time the Knicks made the conference finals, I was -2. I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, they are still in it after winning Game 3 tonight, but if they do end up losing this series, don't be surprised if they make a move for another star like KD to pair with Jalen Brunson and Cat. Because they made 2 big moves this offseason. They traded for not only Mikal Bridges, but Karl Anthony Towns. And so when you look at what they've been willing to do, I wouldn't put it past them if they lose this series, I would not put it past them to go out and get a star like Kevin Durant to add even more scoring to what they've been able to do so far. So, number 2, the New York Knicks.
Not bad, not bad. They might have to make a move. But let's see who you got at the top of the bottom. This got to be crazy. Number 1 spot for KD on Balls Ghosts. Let's hear it. Numero uno.
Numero uno, as my very, very good brother says, Tone. The Houston Rockets. Now, yes, they have been probably the most rumored team to get Kevin Durant. And I believe it's for a good reason. The Rockets won 52 games this year, but the number one aspect they struggle in the most just so happens to be the number one aspect that Kevin Durant is great at. In fact, in my opinion, the best ever at putting the ball in the basket. And so when you now again, it all depends on what you have to bring in and what you have to send out and give away. But if you bring in a guy like Kevin Durant to pair him with Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson and Dillon Brooks and some of these other guys that can play defense, that can play two sides of the ball, it's not so bad bringing in a guy who has, again, in my opinion, the best ever to put the ball in the basket in the Houston Rockets. So, number 1, in my opinion, the most realistic and best fit for Kevin Durant if the Suns were to trade him, the Houston Rockets.
I'd have to second that. They do have a lot of value over there.
So that is this week's version of Gumball's Goats. Let me bring these gentlemen back into the frame. Tone, I'll kind of get your thoughts on it first. What were your thoughts on Gumball's Goats and this week's, of course, best trade destinations for Kevin Durant?
I definitely have to agree with the number 1. Number 2, as soon as you brought that up, somebody else came to mind. Lives a little bit closer to New York, a little bit younger than KD. But that's a great. I think that New York is going to be a prime destination if they do lose this series, because they do have a great team. Like, they have a fantastic team, but if you can take a couple pieces out of there and replace that with like maybe a Giannis, who actually is the best player on that team, and Brunson can be 1B or 2A, whatever you want to call it, I just think that's championship. And like you said, in a Tatumless conference, Brunson, Giannis, and Cat says something to me. Yeah, the other destinations are very. I do think KD is a possibility to stay in Phoenix. I'm not against it. I do agree that you would likely have to deal the bill. Yeah, I think those are the top 3. The other 2 are. I don't think KD's gonna even allow it.
Yeah. He's definitely going to have a say in where he goes if he does get traded.
Yeah.
That's
But
a good
no,
point.
great list. I
Thank you, brother.
see your vision. I see your work, my brother.
Thank you. David Largo, I know you saw that I threw your team in there. What'd you think of Gumball's Goats' best places for KD?
This was fine. I mean, I have more of an issue with the fact that you said Jason Tatum is the daddy of the Miami Heat. That's where
I
I
did say
have an
that.
issue.
That was a great
Yeah,
point.
because excuse my language, but you have me all the way fucked up if you think that that's the
Oh,
case.
okay.
Let me go check his
Yeah,
win percentage against them. Let me go check that while you talk. Let me go.
because
Let me go iron things
that's
out.
I thought that
absolutely
was sparking an interesting conversation.
insane that you would say that. Because in the past 5 years, guess what? In the playoffs and series, we're 2-2, so we're pretty breakneck even when you think about it. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy living in his own world over here. But um, No, I mean, I thought the list was fine. I'm actually shocked that San Antonio is nowhere on the list because I thought that they would at least be an honorable mention. Um, I think that's the only team that I'm like shocked of like where are they at. But at the end of the day, you can only have six, and I think that the six that you picked were fine. Um, so I don't know if I like the Suns as high as they are because I feel like he's made it pretty clear that he's gonna get out of there. But you know, who knows? Some things may not work out, and he may end up staying there. So I think it's a fine list.
Uh, Real quick, before I get to your thoughts on the list, Kevin, to respond to D'Lo, with the Spurs, I don't think Kevin Durant matches up with their timeline. Um, the Spurs want to win, and they want to win for a long time. If Kevin Durant has only so many years left in this league, I don't think he matches up with that timeline. I guess you could say the same thing about the Houston Rockets. I don't think the Houston Rockets window for a championship window is as big as what people think it may be. I really don't. And so I think San Antonio with a player like Wemby, I I think that, and again, you also have the second overall pick. I think that championship window is open for as long as Wemby stays healthy and is in the NBA. And so, and to your point about where the Suns were, the only reason why I have him that high is because I don't think the relationship is broken between Matt Ishbia, and I don't think that relationship is broken between the Suns and Kevin Durant. I I just also wanted to put out there that the Suns, I don't think they may not get what they're looking for in Kevin Durant. And so because of that, I think there's a decent possibility that he will be with the team. But I think in the number one thing that has to happen in order for this to even be thought about being ran back is Bradley Beal has to go. Bradley Beal, I don't care what you do with him. I don't care if you trade him. I don't care if you cut him. He has to go. And so because I don't think he's a cancer in the locker room, but I think it's awkward. I think it's awkward in the locker room. I don't think Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant or Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are as close as Devin Booker and KD are. I think it's awkward. And so I think there's a possibility that he comes back because I just don't know if there's an offer that the Suns are really going to like that much. Kevin, what'd you think of the list this week for Gumball's Goats destinations for Kevin Durant?
I think it was a good list. It was teams that I could definitely see happening. It wasn't nothing too crazy that I would be like that's impossible. I would love to see other teams though, possibly Orlando, but at the same time, they're very young. But they got defense over there, and it's just like Houston as well. They have a top three defense, and the reason why they didn't make it as far is because they probably didn't have as much help from his supporting cast, and I feel like having KD tagging along with Paolo, I think that'd be perfect for them. And I think with KD on that team, they might have enough to win an Eastern Conference without Jason Tatum and with the Celtics. Another couple of teams maybe is some teams in California. Um, Going back to Golden State, that could be another situation where if Golden State feels like KD is the missing piece for them to get one more ring with the squad that they have, that could be another very interesting destination. And the Lakers as well. They think Austin Reeves wasn't good enough in the playoffs, and they want to have a big three of KD, Bron, and Luca, and give up pretty much the whole entire bench and role players. That could also be another not realistic place, but like another fun, interesting place for KD to go to.
So that is this week's edition of Gumball's Goats. We do it every week. I'm not sure what day of the week we do it every week, but we do it at least once a week. And it's a list of my top 5 of whatever it may be. This week was destinations for Kevin Durant. Next week is going to be something else. So let me know what you guys think about Gumball's Goats and where you think Kevin Durant will end up by the time the 2025-2026 NBA season starts. All right, let's look ahead to the game 4s tomorrow.
Before you do that, I think Tone has something he would like to say.
About ain't carrying y'all. It's all right. We already knew he had a better record against y'all.
Hey, we knew
Oh.
we knew he had a better record, but hey, last time I checked, the Celtics have been to the finals twice in the last 5 years, and so have the Heat. The only difference is that Jason Tatum has won one.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
big
a
But
difference, though.
unique differential.
it's a unique difference. But when you're talking about strictly being the daddy of the Heat, it's not the case.
Also, okay. You used the term daddy. I said owner.
Same
I
thing. Same thing. If
what?
he was 4-0 against the Heat, I would understand. But he is 2-2 in playoff series.
But he's 16-10 since he came in the league.
That's entirely fine. He is 2-2 in playoff series.
Well, I'm glad this sparked a little nice
I'm
uh
glad. I'm glad
heat
you could
between them.
be, you know, the master manipulator, pulling all the strings to get me and Tone to go at each other. Yeah, good job,
Um,
Gumball. Great job.
yo, you couldn't have used better terminology.
No, I'm gonna use the terminology that I use, and you can get over it. All right.
I'm just
That's
saying. I
crazy that you would say that on your segment of Gumball's Goats to diminish my team. That's absolute blasphemy.
I
It's
didn't diminish
blasphemy.
them.
You
I
did
was just I wasn't
100% did.
I did not
You
I didn't diminish
100%
them. I just
calling Jason Tatum the owner of the Miami Heat is crazy to
Big
me.
Deuce.
I'm not no. I was just giving Jason Tatum credit. You know, he's
Because
not
hey,
he's
this
going
That's
through it
Rage
right
Bait
now.
right
I
there.
thought
that's like the same way with people calling Luca the owner of the Suns. He's not really the owner of the Suns. He's got one playoff series. He's got one.
well
That don't make him the owner.
well I'm
Recency bias, man.
I'm glad you said that. Now I kind of want to take my statement, Jason Tatum statement
No, I'm
back
just saying
because
that's
now you
how it
kind of
Oh,
belittled
goes.
myself.
guaranteed. I'm sucking up right now.
Hey,
Pause.
yo.
I'm 100% doing that. So you would take back that statement. That's ridiculous
Okay.
that you would say that. It's
Um,
ridiculous that you would say that.
Someone turn the vacuum off.
Hey, I said pause right after it. You don't play.
um,
There's
let's
gotta be a
see.
clip, bro. That's gotta be a clip.
Bro, there's no clip there. There's absolutely no clip there.
Damn stupid.
Hold on, where are we at? 108. Let's see.
All
Put
right, here we
No,
go.
107.30. 107.30.
just
Here we
kidding.
go.
Whoa, that's insane that you looked at it before that. That was insane. You are setting Kilo up for failure. No, it's okay. It's all right. We'll leave that. We'll leave that.
That's all right, guys. I'll be known as the sus member if it gets us views. All right,
I don't care.
I'll sell my
Way,
soul for it.
way to take one. Way to take one for the team.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Be
Appreciate
careful.
it. Let's
Did he
talk about
might get
these.
it? I mean, sorry, I didn't even mean to say that.
There
Let's
you
talk
go.
about these game
There
fours
you
and
go.
move on.
No. We're not going to skip past that. Like someone didn't just say what he just said. You. I'm sure you. I know you've heard what's going on, and you dare bring that man's name up.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
have to
that
say
is
to that?
kind of wild.
Y'all
They
got
found
free him
they they
t-shirts. You know what I'm
they
saying?
found they
I don't
found
even
they
know where
found
y'all got those because they don't
they,
sell them. But y'all
they
have
found
shirts that say "Free
no
Homeboy."
no 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 they found
No,
y'all
we don't.
stash. They found they you heard me Tone? They found you in his stash. You nasty for having that much baby oil. You nasty for having that
That's
much. Don't
crazy.
nobody need that much, Tone.
The show's
Come on,
going live.
you don't
I
hey
apologize for mentioning
you
his
don't weigh
name.
you don't weigh nothing but a buck 05. Soaking wet, holding a bag of bricks, and you need that much baby oil.
That's crazy.
See, there you
I,
go, bro.
I don't even use lotion, brother.
See, that's kind of wild.
That's kind of
That's kind
insane,
of wild.
especially for having a little bit of melanin in your skin. You ain't no use no
He's
lotion.
he is pulling a Kevin Durant. Oh
Cocoa
my
butter.
goodness.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess okay. That's
Okay,
a little.
he's got something.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I guess that's a good point. I can't really say too much on that. All right. What's today? Sunday. Tomorrow, Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals is happening in Minnesota. The Oklahoma City are up 2-1, coming off of a Game 3 loss. Kevin, who wins Game 4 and why?
Give me Minnesota. I feel like they can keep it rolling. That they can build momentum off of the previous game. They're playing at home once again. I feel like they can tie the series 2-2, go back to OKC with a bit of momentum, and go into Game 5. I think AE is going to have his typical game. Randall, if he can get 25, I think they can win. But it all just depends on DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, Mike Conley, McDaniels, Naz Reid. If those guys can hit their open shots, they can definitely win tomorrow's game.
David Largo, who wins tomorrow and why?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna side with Kev here. I think I got the Timberwolves too. Um, I like the adjustments that they made. Obviously, OKC is gonna come out punching in game four, and they're gonna have their adjustments of their own. But especially if they go back to um, Mr. Benchman, who outscores everyone on OKC in
Anderson,
Game Three.
CJ.
Hey, if they go back to him and they have some other contributions on the bench, obviously Nikhil Alexander Walker played pretty well in Game Three as well.
Yep.
If they go back to those guys and they have some success, I could see them tying 2-2.
Tony, Triple OG, who wins this game tomorrow and WHY?
Yeah, I hate to honestly say that I'm picking OKC to win. I actually wanted AE to win this. I picked them to win it in 6. I thought they were gonna put up a solid fight. But honestly, from what I've seen, I think that this series belongs in OKC's hands. It's up to them to lose it. Um, and I really don't think they're going to play the same way they played last game. I agree with you. I think that their coach is going to make some unique changes, even possibly SGA not bringing the basketball up court and playing kind of off ball a little bit. Um, yeah, I wish I could pick Minnesota, but I got OKC.
I'm with you, Tone. I think OKC is going to win Game 4. I think Mark Dagnall is going to make adjustments to the adjustments. And I think they're going to find some way to free SGA up. Like I said earlier in the show, that was Minnesota's best shot. That was their best shot. And they used it in Game 3. I don't think Minnesota plays better than what they did in Game 3. And because of that, I think OKC is the more consistent. I think they're the deeper team. I think OKC wins tomorrow, Game 4. And again, I think SGA finds a way to get freed up. I think Mark Dagnall finds a way to free SGA up. And the OKC Thunder take a commanding 3-1 lead on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, that game is tomorrow at 5:30. On Tuesday, it will be the Knicks Pacers Game 4. That game, again, will be in Indiana. That game will be at 5 o'clock. So, D-Lo, who wins Game 4 between the New York Knicks and the Pacers, and why?
I'm gonna flip scripts. You had 3-1 over there in the West. I'm gonna call 3-1 over here in the East. I think Indiana finds a way to get it done. Um, they I was talking with Tone before the show. They're one of those teams, just like Boston, that play better on the road for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you guys heard during the broadcast today, but Indiana shoots 18% from three at home, which
That's
is kind of ridiculously crazy to me.
yeah.
But I think that there are some guys that are just due for a breakout game. Andrew Nemhard this series has been very lackluster. Um, and it's kind of like where has he been at since the series started? Same with Benedict Mathurin. He's been on the
Yeah.
bench and he has not produced so far. So I feel like someone is due for a really big game, and it's just going to overwhelm the Knicks who have been in a lot of foul trouble in this series, and I don't see that stopping. Cat, he's got issues with foul trouble, especially. So I think they find a way to do it, and they go up 3-1.
Kev, who wins Game 4 between the Knicks and the Pacers, and why?
I'm also gonna pick Indy. I just think they in the first series and the second series, both winning in five. I think they also winning in five as well in this series. I don't know. I just think New York looks a little burnt. Lasting all the way to the ECF. I just think Indy is more energized, more quicker than New York, and I think it all starts and ends with their two-headed monster, Tyrese and Pascal. If they can get it going, and if Tyrese can set up his teammates for the open catch and shoot threes, I think they win. D'Lo, Brob, Nemhard, Mathurin, and McConnell as well. If those guys, all three of those guys, if they play well, they play good basketball. It's hard to beat that team. So I got Indy winning in Game 4.
Who you got winning Game 4, Shooter?
I got Indiana as well. I think that I trust Thibodeau to stick to his guns and not play as many players as he did today. He'll likely just run Brunson to the ground, end up in foul trouble. Indiana's had too much success. All three games have been really close. And which is actually interesting. You got Mr. Clutch in New York, and they haven't been able to, win the majority of the games thus far. But I think that I kind of agree with Lowe. One of the others, whether it be Turner, Namehart, Naismith, somebody's gonna have a pretty decent night. And then I even think Hallie's gonna be a little more aggressive next game because he knows that next game's pretty much a game 7 for both teams. If New York finds a way to win that game, the momentum shifts. So yeah, and they're at home. Like they have to give it their all,
I'm going against the grain. I'm taking the Knicks in Game 4. I think they're going to come out and be the more desperate team. And to your guys' point, except on the flip side, the Knicks others haven't really had a game. OG hasn't gone off for his 27 and 7 threes yet, and Mikal hasn't gone off for his 30 and like I said before the series, I think OG is going to have a game like that. I think Mikal is going to have his 25, 7 rebounds, 3, 4 steals. I think they haven't had that game. And so I think those guys are due for a game. Today it was Deuce McBride. And again, a guy that you didn't expect. And I think Jalen Brunson is going to be smarter. I think he's going to be better in terms of fouling and playing defense with his feet and not with his hands. I think Cat, his confidence skyrocketed after his fourth quarter tonight. I think he's going to come out firing because he looked unstoppable in that fourth quarter. I mean, he was doing whatever he wanted against that Pacers team. So I like the Knicks in Game 4 to tie the series, going back to MSG. Now, real quick before we end the show, to go over our picks. Now that show, it was just Kev, Tone, and I. So I have in the Western Conference, I had OKC in 6. Tone had Minnesota in 6, and Kevin had Minnesota in 7. I had SGA as the Conference Finals MVP. Tone and Kev both had Anthony Edwards as the Conference Finals MVP. On the East side, I had Knicks in 7. Tone had Indy in 6, and Kev had Knicks in 6. Kevin and I had Jalen Brunson for Conference Finals MVP, and Tone had Tyrese Halliburton. Thank you all for watching this show. Thank you that will conclude this episode of Gumball Sports Machine, this Sunday edition after Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Once again, the Knicks beat the Indiana Pacers 106-100 to get their first win of the series. They are now down 2-1 going into Game 4 on Tuesday night. We will be back this week.
Sure.
So, thank you, Tony, please. We will be back this week to talk more and react more to the conference finals, of course, and as well as a little bit of football, a little bit of baseball, a little bit of WNBA, which is going on. The Stanley Cup Finals is going on, and well, the Florida Panthers are absolutely just railing the Carolina Hurricanes. So that's maybe a little hockey. Maybe we'll throw a little hockey in there. We'll see. But that is going to conclude this episode of Gumball Sports Machine.
Shout out to 76ers too, man.
See, there you go.
Would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, they don't get to play a lot this time of the year, so I just want to shout them out.
Oh. You know what? I'm just grateful it wasn't the Suns. I don't care. I'm just grateful it wasn't the Suns.
Shout out to the Jazz.
Yeah, book a cookie right there. You know what I'm saying?
To the Wizards, man.
I don't know.
Shout out to the Hornets as
there it is.
well.
Oh, okay. So now we're just shouting out terrible teams.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I guess
Shout out to the
friendly.
Cleveland Cavaliers. Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ooh.
Shout out to the Frauduleurs.
We were being friendly.
We were. But Mom mentioned terrible teams, and I just had to sneak one in real quick.
Damn.
Little jab, you know. Little jab. Little light jab.
Kevin, just gonna. D'Lo's gonna.
We are a family friendly show, and I'm gonna intend to keep it that way.
Well, if you did want to go, to an hour and a half, we still have 9 minutes. I feel like this. Tone. I don't want to speak for you, but I think we can agree. I could sit back and watch Kevin D'Lo argue about the Cavs. I mean, I think that's great content. Yeah, Kev, you have nothing to say to defend your boys?
This is the day the holy the Lord's day, the day that He rested. So I'm gonna hold my peace and.
That's true. He went to church today.
That is true. So you're gonna withhold content from us?
Yes.
Heck yeah, we can talk about Devin Booker not making an All NBA team.
Yeah. You know who also didn't make an All NBA team?
I was surprised KD didn't make the team though. I thought he was gonna make the All NBA team.
He didn't play enough games.
He didn't play enough games.
He didn't. I thought he would have for sure had around 65.
No, he played 62. He got that ankle injury at the end of the year.
You know who did play 65? D-Book. Where's he at, man?
Oh, really?
Where that guy at?
Yeah, there was actually a couple of players that people have side by side.
I'm surprised you didn't actually bring that up today, Jamal.
No, we can talk about this week because I don't see Tyler Hero on here. Actually,
he's not on there.
I don't see
Ben
Devin
Adebayo's not on there either. He had a down year.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a down year.
Oh, okay. Devin Booker did have a down year, but his down year is 26 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. That's his down year.
They said LeBron could have been on there too.
LeBron, I don't think LeBron.
He was on second, wasn't he?
Yeah, LeBron's on the second team.
Yeah, but his stats are better than some of the players that are on the first team.
Who are you taking him off? Who are you taking off? Donovan Mitchell?
I'm not. I'm not
I'm
saying
taking Mitchell off
that.
Heck yeah, Mitchell shouldn't be on the first team. That fraud. That absolute bum. Listen, make LeBron on there.
Kev, I'm starting to think you're not a Cavs fan. I'm starting to think that you support another team with all these shots that are being taken at the Cavs.
Put Cade Cunningham on there. Put Cade Cunningham first team.
That pause I can get behind.
I think I'm putting N before I put Cade on there.
Devin's turned into a Minnesota Timberwolves Anthony Edwards slobberer. He no longer roots for that Donovan Mitchell and those Cleveland Frauduleurs. He don't root for him anymore.
David Largo is a great part of the show. David, I want you to know that. I love the fact that you are a fantastic part of the show.
Listen, and we'll spread the love around. We got the Phoenix Buns and the Miami. What did you say, Tony? The Miami Hate? Is that what you called them? Yeah. We'll spread the love around.
Yeah.
We all suck.
Okay. Well, we haven't spread it all the way around.
Who are we? The Smeltics?
Yeah. The Boston Smeltics. Yeah, we all suck.
The Boston racists.
Just a bunch of sports fans whose
I ain't seen
teams
a
are just
Confederate
really
flag
bad.
until I moved to Phoenix, Arizona. You gonna call my city racist? That's crazy.
You seen a Confederate flag here?
Yeah, I saw one driving by your house.
You saw one that by my house? No way.
No, I saw one driving by your house in your front yard.
It
Stop.
was on your window.
Stop.
There's somebody who
See,
lives less
y'all, that's
than a
It was
mile
nasty
away.
work.
honest.
Y'all trying to get me
Honest.
canceled.
It was
Y'all
on his
trying to get.
window. It was on his window with a picture of Donovan Mitchell on it. I remember.
Y'all are trying to get me canceled. We do not support any of that on this show. All
No,
right.
absolutely not. It's all jokes. It's all jokes. We are not sensitive on this show.
Except
Not sensitive.
Except we do agree. We all agree the Cleveland Cavaliers are frauds. We all agree on that.
Raise your hand
So
if you agree that the Cleveland Cavaliers are frauds.
yes, sir. Shout out Gumo, man.
I got you.
Shout
Man.
out
I got
Gumo.
you. Tone, do you agree?
That what?
That doesn't matter if you agree.
Hey.
My bad. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you agree that the Cleveland Cavaliers are frauds?
I would agree more if they were healthy, but I feel like
Fraudulent.
personally, for me, I feel like health contributed a lot to them
They
losing
were
that
all on the
series.
court.
And I also think that Indiana was better than a lot of people expected. So
They were all on the court. They were all
I
there.
mean, there were a lot of lesser seeds
They
that beat the better seeds this entire playoff. So
they were
all of the
all on the
higher
court.
seeds are frauds, all of them.
They were all on the court in that final game, and they blew it.
And then that's crazy that for you to call them frauds and they beat y'all by 50. I would that's just wild to say.
Oh yeah, but that doesn't make us frauds. That just means we suck. You know what I mean? We're a 10 seed. We're supposed to get blown out by 50. You know what I mean?
Nah, y'all, they're an NBA team. They
No, we
should not.
suck.
And y'all
We
lost
should
like
have.
multiple games by 35 plus. It wasn't like it happened one time. It was
It
like,
happened twice. It
yeah,
happened twice.
that's nasty work by the
Hey
frauds.
man, we should have had the number one pick. If we would have lost that initial playing game, we would have had the 11th pick.
That's
We would have had
bad.
Cooper Flag.
Bad organization, bad ownership, bad coaching, bad everything. That's exactly why I can't see a player like Kevin Durant even going there.
Hey man,
Anyone
shout
want
out
to
to
go
Eric
there?
Spoelstra for getting us some wins.
That's
Shout out to
nasty
Spo,
work,
man.
man.
On that note,
But the crazy thing is Dallas did the same thing and it panned out for them because
Yeah,
Dallas literally
exactly.
did the same exact thing. They won a game that they should have lost and still got the first round.
Exactly. It's all fine. It doesn't negate the fact that Cavs are frauds. We'll leave it at that. Close us out, Mo.
By your definition, yeah.
on that note,
Hey, yo, Kev, shout out to you for taking the high road, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you.
Yeah,
This is a
shout out-
positive
I'll
show.
be the mature
Shout out to
one.
Kev.
You know what
Took
I'm
it.
saying?
it's
Shout
all
out
right.
on the Lord's Day. Shout out
It's
to
always,
Kev.
Exactly.
it's always the little brothers love to talk, and the older brothers just be more respectful, mature.
That's
So
why
is
you're
what?
the coach, though, Kev. That's why you're the coach.
Heck
I gotta be a
yeah.
good example for the kids.
Bars.
Hey yo.
That was a bar
Yeah.
right there. I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right. Well, Tone has turned into a slobber.
Damn.
On that
Let's get
note,
us out of here.
if nobody else is gonna tell you, I'll tell you. I love you. I'm proud of you, and you woke up this morning for a reason. Don't take it for granted. I love you, and I hope you had an amazing day. Thank you for watching. I love you for watching. And Tone has something to tell you.
Cut.
Oh. No, yeah, you've always said like and subscribe, That's how I was like. I thought
Like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to do
There we
the AI voice. I'm trying to do my AI voice because they say we moving more AI. So pretty soon, like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I got you.
Thank you. Although I think there's an age limit to the AI. I love you. I'm proud of you. That's going to close out the show. As always,
Holla.
it is nice to be important, but it is much more important to be nice. I love you. We all love you. We will see you later this week. Deuce McBride.